I would tell the woman, if we keep seeing each other, you can expect four things of me. I'll be conscious. I'll be honest. Everything I'll tell you will be true. I'll be transparent. You'll know what I think, feel, and want. And I will set the tone and take the lead. And every time I told a woman I'd do those four things, they all got this look about, like the state of arousal. And they'd all say, wow, I've never had a man tell me that before. Because men don't do that. Women were getting turned on by just me telling them, I'm going to be honest with you and be transparent and set the tone and lead and be conscious. And we're thinking, okay, why would it be anything less than that? But for women, it's so unfamiliar. It's a fun subject. I don't even think, I'm not going to even give kind of an introduction to get us into it. Let's just dive right into it. This is aspiration number 12 of the Aspirations of the Integrated Man series that I've been teaching from. And that aspiration is, I aspire to honor my word and my commitments, to be truthful, honest, and transparent in all matters, to be a what you see is what you get kind of man. That's aspiration number 12. Now, when it comes to honesty, the three key points of this lesson. Key point number one, nice guys have an awkward relationship to the truth. Let that sink in for a minute. We nice guys, we're nice, right? How could we not be honest? Because not being honest isn't nice, but we've got an awkward relationship with the truth. Second key point of the lesson is, becoming fully honest is an essential part of masculine initiation into full adulthood. And key point number three is, honesty is the easiest way to live, believe it or not, and sexy as hell, believe it or not. Okay, let's dive in key point number one. Nice guys have an awkward relationship to the truth. In No More Mr. Nice Guy, I really pretty much lead with that, is why nice guys are often not so nice. And one of the reasons that they're often not so nice is this difficulty they have around the truth. Now, so if you think about these things, the following things all make you dishonest and inauthentic. See if any of these sound familiar. Seeking approval. If you're seeking approval, you're not being honest and authentic. Trying to be what you think other people want you to be. No authenticity there. I just thought of one. I'm going to add to the list. Attached to any outcome whatsoever will tend to make you less than honest, because you're so attached, you want that outcome. Integrity doesn't matter. Telling people what you think they want to hear. Hiding anything that might lead to conflict or rejection. Saying yes when you'd rather say no. Saying no when you'd rather say yes. Actually, I got that backwards in my notes. Avoiding expressing your true feelings, not standing up for yourself. If you think about it, if you don't stand up for yourself, you're not being honest, you're not being authentic. All of these things create a distorted relationship with honesty and the truth. Now, I always get a kick when talking with nice guys. Usually if the subject comes up, I've heard this so many times. It's one of those things, if I had a nickel for every time I heard it, every time I've heard a nice guy say, well, I'm pretty honest. And I look at him and go, that's a contradiction of terms. You cannot be pretty honest. You're honest or you're dishonest. There's nothing in between. I remember my stepdaughter, my second marriage. Like most kids, like all kids, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. She also had some difficulties with the truth. And, whenever I would confront her in things that obviously she told us that were not true, and her response, was this. She says, well, I'm honest most of the time. And I told her, I said, Jamie, you might be honest 80% of the time. You might be honest 90% of the time. But if I know you're dishonest 10% or 20% of the time, how do I know if I'm getting 20% or 80%? How do I know which I'm getting? Anything you say. It could be 80, it could be 20. I don't know. So unless you're 100% honest, you're pretty honest, which that means you're less than honest. So I looked up a term the other day, truthy. That's kind of a good term for nice guys, truthy. We're kind of truthy. We kind of mostly tell the truth, except for when we don't. Or we're honest-ish. In the gay community, they have a term called monogamish. I'm monogamous until I'm not, but just every now and then. So nice guys are that way. Now, here's the deal. Anything less than the truth is not honesty. Now, that seems so self-evident, right? Anything less than the truth is not honesty. The truth is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Now, not telling direct lies is not the same thing as being honest. And I think I used to fool myself with this. Well, I don't out and out lie, but just because you don't out and out tell, you know, these giant white, black, green, red lies doesn't mean you're honest. Okay. Just not bringing something up that needs to be brought up makes you dishonest. Misdirecting somebody's attention away from the subject makes you dishonest. When I used to get into arguments with my second wife, she's really intuitive. She'd go, "You're lying to me. You're lying." And then she would like accuse me of something that she thought I was lying about, which that was her fatal mistake because she was usually wrong about the thing she thought I was lying about. So here's the deal. I could sit there going, she knows I'm lying. I don't know how she knows that, but she's guessing wrong. So I can still deny. Nope, you're wrong. You're wrong. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And all the while stay in my lie. Okay, that was not being honest. Even if she guessed wrong about my lie, that didn't give me an out for saying you're right. I was lying to you. I wasn't telling you the truth. Okay, so here's a point of clarification for nice guys. There's a difference between honesty and personal boundaries. Often when I talk with nice guys about telling the truth, they think there's only two options. One is just hide everything, or the other is just blabber everything to whoever. Okay. But they're actually, and because we men, and especially nice guys, have difficulty with nuance, revealing too much to people who don't have the right to the information is not necessarily in the category of truth telling. Okay. So, for example, if you're walking down the street, some stranger walks up to you and say, how often do you jerk off a day? Now, nice guys, if I tell them, all right, whole truth, nothing but the truth, they can say, well, he asked, I got to tell him the whole truth. No, a perfectly appropriate answer is none of your fucking business, asshole. That's a perfectly appropriate answer. He doesn't have access or privy, or he doesn't need that truth. Okay. But the more intimate of the relationship you have, the more information they should have access to about you. You should not be hiding things about you from the people that you're closest to. So just because somebody wants to know something doesn't mean you have to tell them. It's not telling a lie to say, I don't feel, moved to tell you that. That's not any of your business. You don't have to. But you should not create false illusions in the world. Now, those words kind of are the same thing. The word illusion is false, typically. So we are not going to make somebody think something about us is true when the opposite is the truth. Now, that doesn't mean we have to tell everybody how many times a day we jerk off, but we shouldn't be walking around going, I never jerk off. But again, we get to decide who we give that information to. Okay. A second point of clarification. Nice guys often justify telling lies. They justify the telling the lie. They might say, I don't want to hurt anyone. I've heard that so many times from nice guys. The truth is, they're just covering their own ass. If you don't want to hurt anybody, don't do the thing that you might have to lie to them about. Okay? So that's a point of clarification. Whenever you say, well, I didn't want to tell them because I didn't want them to be hurt. No, you didn't want them to be upset at you because that makes you anxious. Those are just common nice guy patterns with our awkward relationship to the truth. Okay, point two. Key point two, becoming fully honest is an essential part of masculine initiation into full adulthood. Here's the truth. Like I mentioned, my stepdaughter used to lie to me sometimes. All children lie. Now, hopefully, as they get older, they reduce that tendency. As a marriage and family therapist, I used to have couples come into my office, bringing a child with them, saying, "Oh, my 5-year-old tells lies," and I'd go, "All children tell a lie. That's $60. See you later." The kid didn't do anything wrong. That's just what kids do. And the reason why children lie is that they're small. The big people are big. And the big people can do whatever the fuck they want to the little people. Isn't that pretty much our experience of being little? Big people could do whatever the fuck they wanted to you. They could spank you, they could ground you, they could put you in timeout, they could kick you out of school, they could take your allowance away, they could do what they could lecture at you, scold you for hours at a time. Why? Because they're big, you're little. So what children do, they try to level the playing field by lying. Well, if I can tell the lie and it works, I don't get in trouble, I don't get hurt, I don't get scolded, I don't get grounded, it's worth it. Okay, so it's a natural thing children do. It is also based on magical thinking, and children tend to be magical thinkers. We were when we were children. And this magical thinking is, well, if I don't tell them the truth, they'll never have any way to find out the truth. Now, for all of those of us who are parents, haven't you pretty much known every time when your kids were lying to you and your kids going, how do they know that? How are parents so smart that they know? Well, we told all the same lies when we were kids too. And, we can read your body language. So, but the children, it's based on magical thinking. I remember learning something related to that in child development. There's a developmental stage for children where, when they're little, it's probably less than 2, maybe 1-ish, where you play peekaboo with them and you hold something over their eyes or they hold something over their eyes and they think if they can't see you because there's something over their eyes, they believe you can't see them. Right? They play that game with little children. It's a developmental stage. Their brain just hasn't developed enough to make that cognitive distinction. It's kind of like lying. If I tell you a lie, well, you can't possibly know the truth. But the truth is, most of the time, people do know. So lying is childlike. It's a result of feeling powerless. So here's the deal. The more you lie, the less powerful you feel. The less powerful you feel, the more you're going to lie. See, that's true no matter how old you are, whether you're 5, 15, 25, 45. That cycle is always true. Lying is always stems from feeling powerless and vulnerable. I can get hurt. I can get in trouble. I can get rejected. I can get scolded. I can have painful things happen to me. But the more we tell the truth, the more it empowers us and the more powerful we feel, the less we're going to lie. So we can just reverse that cycle. So start telling the truth. It will empower you. And the more empowered you feel, you'll know that you can handle whatever the outcome is of the truth. Now here's something interesting. Most of you have heard this story. When I started working on this thing around honesty early in my nice guy recovery in my second marriage, like I said, I used to lie to my wife. If I thought she's gonna be mad at me and she just out, she might get the lie wrong, but she'd know when I was lying. What I started doing was telling her when I was about to tell her a lie. When I was cooking up a story in my head, I'd say, here's the lie I was going to lie. I'd tell her, I was going to lie to you. Here's the lie I was going to tell you. And here's the whole truth. You know what? She never got upset about that. Never got upset. When I told her I was going to lie to her, she still didn't get upset. But if I did lie to her, yeah, that would really set something off. So that's why this is powerful masculine initiation. Now, it's again, not just telling lies, but becoming a what you see is what you get kind of guy. Nothing hidden, nothing half-assed. The more you tell the truth, the more empowered you are, the more masculine you are, the more adult you are. Now, I've been working on this 30 years maybe. I still see little things creep in. On the breakout rooms, we're going to give you 2 questions. Last week, I taught this lesson on the alpha call, and the assistants on the call, we stayed, on the call when everybody else went in breakout rooms. We all answered these questions too. And I shared that I became aware of a way that I lie. I lie to myself, and I lie to other people. And the lying can be just so insidious. The number one lie I tend to tell to myself and others is I was too busy. I've got a dozen commitments to a dozen people to review something, write something, get back to them about something, and they pile up and I don't get to them. And then, I was too busy. When they ask about, I'm sorry, I've just been too busy. The truth is, it's not that I was too busy. Was I busy? Yes. Was I really busy? Yes. Do I have a lot of things on my plate? Yes. Do I have more on my plate than what I can do? Yes. But if I say I've been too busy, the truth was I just did not prioritize that thing over everything else that I was prioritizing. So when I say, I'm sorry, I didn't get to it, I was too busy. The truth is, if I really said the truth, I'd say, I've been busy and I did not prioritize that thing I committed to you above everything else. That's why it's not done. That'd be the truth. And I realize that's such a subtle lie that I tell myself, I didn't get to it because I was too busy. No, I just didn't prioritize it. I didn't make it number one, number two, or number three and get it done. Most everything I've committed to, I could have got it done if I'd actually made it my highest priority. So that's how insidious being less than truthful really is. So that's how powerful honest self-evaluation is. We're going to do that in the breakout rooms. Evaluate every area of your life where you're less than 100% truthful, authentic, and transparent. I'm going to challenge you to do that. Get a piece of paper out. Where are you less than 100% truthful and honest? And then find safe people and begin revealing the things you don't want anybody to know about you. I've been doing that for 30 years. And I tell you what, in the men's program I was in for 5 years, every now and then we do look the guy in his left eye and for 45 seconds, shotgun, tell him everything you don't want him to know about you. And I'd start, everybody knows everything about me. And they go, no, I kind of don't want to say that one. It takes practice to just keep putting out there, but practice with safe people. Start in your breakout rooms on this call tonight. When I said that last week, I looked over and all of a sudden the number of people on the call started dropping off. That's a joke. I made that up. So go into breakout rooms. Let's be honest with each other. Let's start with each other. Okay. Honesty, key point number 3, is the easiest way to live and sexy as hell. For those of you that have been around for a few months, I did a lesson on integrity a few months back. And I said that integrity is the easiest way to live. Because if you only got your voice to listen to, what do I want? What's right to me? What's in my heart? And then you do it, that's an easy way to live. If you're trying to figure out, well, what do they want? Or what are they going to like? Or what might upset them? Or what can't I do in front of them? What can't I say? That's a difficult way to live. You got that committee in your head. You're trying to, manage and please everybody. It's just a lot easier. Just tell the truth. You don't have to, if you just tell them the truth, you don't have to listen to you in the committee. You don't have to please anyone. You don't have to remember your stories. You don't have to hide anything. You don't have any fancy footwork to kind of, what did I say? What did I not say? My awkward relationship with the truth, began as a child, like with most of us, and with my father constantly accusing me of things I hadn't done. And I got to where I started rehearsing conversations in my head. When I started, teaching ruminating brain, I started realizing that's a rumination pattern I have, especially if I think I'm in trouble. Think about that. As an adult, do we really get in trouble? It's kind of a childlike thing. Or if somebody's mad at me, or if there's going to be a conflict, I've caught myself rehearsing conversations in my head. Now, because I notice this rumination pattern, when I notice it, I stop it. I ask myself, am I going to have this conversation? And if the answer is no, I say, well, quit rehearsing it then if you're not going to have it. And if the answer is yes, I ask myself, when? Well, later on tonight, tomorrow, I'll send an email, I'll make a call. Then I ask myself, when I have the conversation, am I going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? I go, yeah. Okay, quit rehearsing the conversation because the truth needs no rehearsal. Just go tell the truth. It's simple. The truth is always simple. It's a sentence or two. I can't tell you how many times guys will come into a session with me. It might be in a group, workshop, on a call, and they've got this big thing that they know they need to talk to their partner about. And they'll tell it to me. And they tell it to me in 3 minutes. I might ask a few questions, but they get right to the point with me. And I go, have you told your girlfriend, your wife that? No. Why not? Well, yeah. I go, just tell her the way you told me. You told me the truth. It was simple. It was 3 minutes. Just go tell her. But, if they're telling their partner, it's going to turn into, an hour and a half, presentation. No, the truth doesn't need it. Just to the point. Now, the truth is sexy as hell. You guys figured that one out yet? The truth is sexy as hell. I've talked about when I was in my dating heyday. If I date a woman, more than a few times and it looked like we're going to keep seeing each other, I would tell the woman, if we keep seeing each other, you can expect 4 things of me. I'll be conscious. I'll be honest. Everything I'll tell you will be true. I'll be transparent. You'll know what I think, feel, and want. And I will set the tone and take the lead. And every time I told a woman I'd do those four things, they all got this look about like the state of arousal. And they'd all say, wow, I've never had a man tell me that before. They said, you need to write a book. You need to write another book. You need to tell men what you're doing because men don't do that. Women were getting turned on by just me telling them, I'm going to be honest with you and be transparent, set the tone and lead and be conscious. And we're thinking, okay, why would it be anything less than that? But for women, it's so unfamiliar. They don't get that from men. I promise you. Now, I've always said if you mess with a woman's trust, you mess with her lust, right? And unless they're attracted to bad boys, then it kind of amps up their lust. But in a longer term relationship, besides just with the bad boy, you mess with the trust, you mess with the lust. So reverse it. The more you build trust with a woman, the more you deepen her lust. Okay. I can't tell you how many times, whether it's with an individual client, a man in a men's group, back when I was leading a lot of groups, the guy would tell me something again that he needed to tell his partner. He'd been withholding, something he knew was probably going to create a crisis. And he'd work on it in group, talk it with me. And I say, all right, go home. Tell your partner we need to talk. I owe you an apology. And then tell them the story, what it is. Tell them that they've already talked about it with their group or with their therapist, how they're going to work on it moving forward, and tell their partner how they assume that must make her feel, how it's made her feel that the X, Y, or Z, whatever that is. Could be they've been looking at porn, might be infidelity, it might be that, they lost their job and didn't tell her. I don't know. It could be any number of things. And of course, the guy's scared. And almost without fail, they come back the next week and they say, oh man, I went home, told my wife, told my girlfriend, whatever. Oh man, it was messy. She had all these questions. She cried. She yelled. We were up all night and then we fucked. And we've been fucking like minks every night, every day for the last week. And they're so surprised. But the truth is sexy to the feminine. The truth is sexy because women know a man that tells the truth, if he'll tell a difficult truth, he's trustworthy. And if he's trustworthy, they want to open to that. They really do want to open. We're the ones that close them with all the ways we withhold the truth and hurt them by being less than honest and transparent. Okay. I hope this lesson's gotten you guys thinking of areas in your life where you're being less than fully honest and authentic. I don't want anybody to go into a shame place about it. I mean, we can have some healthy guilt about it if there's behaviors we need to change. Want you to think about where you're being less than fully what you see is what you get kind of guy. And if you're ready to start the masculine initiation of leaving childhood fears and decisions behind, grow into a fully empowered, honest, authentic man, and to be sexy as fuck. I mean that sexy as fuck man that you are, it begins with telling the truth. And that begins with doing that with safe people and going from there. The real issue here that I hear is the question of who's setting the tone here. Who's leading it? Who's setting the tone? It sounds like she is. Oh, I want this. I want to meet up with you every now and then. I want to have sex with you every now and then. But I think it really depends on why you guys broke up. If you broke up and not because you guys hate each other or, there's toxic things or there's things broken. I broke up with some women that there was no terrible thing going on. They weren't my just long-term fit. And usually at their request, I would have sex with them occasionally from time to time, ongoing, if we weren't in relationships with other people. But eventually I had to stop doing that when I realized if I wanted to get into a full relationship with a really great woman, I had to cut out all that side stuff going on. So I think you need to be the decider. That's where I will put it, is you decide what works for you. What do you want? If women would tell me, well, can we continue to be friends? I'd say, no. The only female friends I have in my life are the ones who've come around and fucked me every now and then or introduced me to their girlfriends who might want to fuck me. So all of that I'd being humorous, but it's me setting the tone, doing it on my terms. What do you really want? And go that direction. Jump in. This is kind of the same answer I gave the last person. Who's setting the tone and leading? And I know this is really fresh for me because I have a client I've been working with, lives in South Africa. And he's in his late 30s and has a girlfriend. And he's been stressed out for a couple of years now because he knows she wants to get married and have kids. He doesn't know if he does. Now, he might at some point, but right now and in the near future, he doesn't. And because he feels guilty, because he knows she wants those things and he wants her to be happy and he wants to give her what she wants, but he just stays in this, his head spins about it night and day, and he's racked with it. He finally, just in the last couple of days, said, I realized I've been trying to make her into something she's not, and she's been trying to make me into something I'm not, and that's not loving. And your woman is trying to make you into something that she wants you to be rather than accepting you as you are.